What's up, guys? Back for another video here today, and today we're going to be doing a video based on the Aaron Rodgers is overrated. Makes sense the Packers moved on. Skip. So this is what Skip said. Obviously, he's a big Aaron Rodgers hater, so I expected this from Skip. But let's just hear his opinion and see if it, some are, good or not. Maybe we'll see. Let's see what happens.
Shannon, are you buying this about your guy?
No, Skip, because had Mr. McGinn, I don't know
I guess it's both of them, actually, I guess. I thought it was only Skip. It says Skip up here, so it's like, oh.
him, Skip. I'm sure you've known him traveling in that circle over the extended period of time. You probably crossed this guy at some point in time in your storied career, but I don't know him. If he's covered the Packers for 38 years, I'm sure my brother would probably know who he is. But Skip, for me, for him to say they might have an if, I don't like that. If he wants to come out and definitively say one way or another, okay, I can live with that. But for me, Skip, for them to use a first-round pick on a quarterback and they move up to get him, sure, I'm sure it got Aaron Rodgers' attention.
Probably,
but what
yeah.
a waste would that be in order for you to try to gain a perceived power struggle over the quarterback that you just handed $120, $130 million that you're paying him $33, $34 million a year, and you gave him, what, Skip, $78, $79 million
Pretty much all
fully
of it.
guaranteed. When I look at it, Skip, the Packers, they were 15th in rush yards, 16th in rush yard average. Drafting a running back in the second round, what does that have something to do about Aaron Jones? Because what we're starting to see, Skip, teams are really hesitant to hand out second contracts to running back. Now, we saw Zeke get one. We saw Christian McCaffrey get one.
Those guys
a couple
are
years
younger,
ago,
but...
Todd Gurley got one. But more times than not, what we're starting to see, they're being hesitant or they're paying them less than what the franchise tag number is over an extended period of time. Skip, look, what has happened with Aaron Rodgers is that he's been so great, is that he's been able to take lesser tier talent, and that he had some great receivers throughout the course of his career.
Yep.
You know, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson. He had Donald Driver at the later stages of his career. James Jones led the league in touchdowns.
Forgot about Finley, but still, whatever.
1 year, Jermichael Finley before that neck injury.
Yeah.
But other than that, Skip, what have they replaced him with? I was reading an article yesterday, Skip, and I didn't know this, and I know a lot of people don't know this. Aaron Rodgers, in his career, has only thrown one touchdown to a number one drafted, a first round pick, Skip.
Yeah, I saw that, I think, yesterday or the day before about that. It's crazy. It's like you could see what the Packers, like, they've been going. I understand, if you see the team now, you'd be like, okay, we have a very strong defense. That's because in the last couple years, we actually went defense. And I was fine by that. We needed a defense. It made sense. I think we took corners like 2 straight years in the first round. But that was fine. It came out to be, that now our defense is a lot better. But now this was the time where we were supposed to, upgrade the offense now. And what they do, they drafted a quarterback. I did a video on, talking about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. I'm not going to talk about him that much in this video, only if they bring it up and I need to say something. But yeah.
Tight end or wide receiver. Let that sink in for just a second. Not but one, and that's Mercedes Lewis last year. Skip, that is crazy. So what they've done is that they put all this, like, okay, Aaron, you do it. We're paying you all this money, you do it. And what is ticking Aaron Rodgers off is that he's done it for so long, and they still refuse to go get him some legitimate help to go.
I would say this, like, looking at the receiving core right now, it's not the most terrible. Yeah, we still have Devontae, obviously. We picked up Devin Funches in free agency, a big body receiver. Hopefully he can do not bad. I don't think he did that bad with the Colts last season. Hopefully he can do pretty nice for us, give a lot of the, the attention off of Devontae. And then we also have Scantling that probably is going to fill in that other spot of the receiving core, or Kumaro or whoever falls in. And I don't think they're bad players. They're decent players, Hopefully they can get better and become better. But, Yeah, I don't think it's the most terrible receiving core, but I did think we should have went receiver or linebacker. I know we got a linebacker, I think, in the 4th round. I think it was. But still, we probably could have took Queen right there at, like, you know, where we were at, or we could have took a receiver, you know, or even when we took that running back, we could have took another receiver. You know, it was a really deep receiving class that we didn't really do much in. So I was really surprised we didn't take at least one, not even in the 7th round.
Go along with Devontae Adams. Skip, I don't believe this was about a power struggle. Do I believe this move ticked Aaron off? 1,000%. Because anytime you take a quarterback and you move up to select him, that raises the quarterback, that gets the quarterback's attention. But a perceived power struggle, and you're going to take a 1st-round pick, the guy that's not going to help you for an extended period of time, this makes no sense to me.
Here we go. Here we go.
It makes complete sense to me. What have I tried to tell you, Shannon Sharp, for 3 long years here on Undisputed? I have been the lone wolf saying, time out. Aaron Rodgers is no longer Aaron Rodgers. He's in decline. 3 straight years, the stats have fallen.
Yeah, but I think he's still Aaron Rodgers. We just kind of built the game around the running back now, or like more to a running game than a passing game, in my opinion. I think it's more balanced now, but I think we run more than we pass now. You know, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers because, you know, he's having a down year. Again, we need to get him some more help out there, you know. We're throwing to receivers we'd usually have, you know, at, like, our 3rd best receiver. But some of them, like, were our 2nd best receiver. So, I think it's just uncalled for, you know, calling him overrated and shit like that because the man needs some help. He's doing the best he can out there, and, you know, people like Skip are calling him overrated because he doesn't have much help out there. Look what he did. Look at what he did when he had receivers. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae. We were good. Obviously, we never got farther than the NFC Championship, but still. He had his better years were then because he actually had help. Now he only has Devontae and some other, you know, supporting casts, you know. And a lot of times it's not his fault. You know, I've watched some of Aaron Rodgers' games last season, and yeah, he did overthrow a lot of receivers, but you gotta also remember a lot of the throws that he put towards receivers, they dropped them, a lot of them. So it's not totally his fault why his year last year was terrible. But anyway,
QBR falling, completion percentage falling, QBR.
I hate when people base shit off stats. I really do. Yeah, it's an important thing. But, you know, they always say, you know, the eye test. I feel like the eye test is one of the most important stats. It's not even a stat, but you know what I mean. These fuckers out here always be putting it on and, you know, like, oh, stat. This is how this player is. Really? Like, come on. You know, like I say, this person has a bad season for the last 3 years. Next year, they win the Super Bowl off a great year, and they are talking shit now. Let's say that. So stats don't always tell the reason. Sometimes the eye tests don't always tell the reason, but it is an important thing you always got to take in consideration.
Our last year was 54, which was the worst of his career, and his completion percentage ranked 21st in the NFL.
That wasn't fully his fault. You know, there's 2 sides of him throwing the ball. Throwing the ball and the receiver catching it. A lot of times the receiver didn't catch it. I'm not saying, you know, oh, it's all the receiver's fault. No, I'm not putting it on the receivers. Rodgers did have some bad games and some overthrown balls. I've watched every game, so I know, you know, I know that stuff. Not every play, every snap, and everything at that, you know, but I at least watch enough of it where I know, like, okay, yeah, he's had some bad games and overthrown. But everybody does. You can't tell me Tom Brady has ever had a stretch of some bad, you know, throwing seasons.
And you can say this was a outlandish statement, but I've made it many times here on Undisputed. Given the pedestal that you put him on and others on Undisputed have put him on, Aaron Rodgers has become the most overhyped and overrated quarterback in the history.
Okay, that's a little too far, but I can see overhyped, but I can't see overrated. You know? In my opinion, he's top 3 best quarterback in the league right now. I'd say Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and then Aaron. Well, actually, you can argue Breeze, but you know, whatever your rating is, in your opinion. But pretty much, I know he's definitely, if not 3, he's definitely 4. But anyway, I forgot even what I was gonna say. Oh, overhyped. Yeah, I could see overhyped. I know there was a lot of years, you know, where he was like, "Oh my God, he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen." You know, and then, you know, we had some down years and it showed a bit, you know, and some stuff like that. So I could see the overhype shit, you know, but
Of pro football, given where you place him, and you never ever give an inch.
look at his face, bro. You know he's laughing his ass off. Yeah, he's not the most overhyped. I don't think he's the most overhyped, maybe. I think there might have been more overhype. I don't know. No.
That, wait a second.
You know, he's smiling.
He's not what he used to be. Aaron Rodgers got to 1 Super Bowl and won only 1 Super Bowl.
1-1.
Almost 10 years ago.
And
I keep saying, show me the money. You know, show me something. He's 6-7 in the postseason.
you know the reason why? For one, we had a large stretch where we didn't have a fucking defense. Aaron had to carry the defense all the way to the NFC Championship multiple times, and we ran into better offensive teams that could just stretch our defense. Like, example, the Falcons, they destroyed the shit out of us with Julio Jones. Not saying they probably wouldn't do it now, but it would at least be probably better than it was before. Seahawks, they had a great offense for a very long time. They kind of still do, but still, you know, we meet these great offensive teams in the NFC Championship. You can't say much about this year, but I would say if we're going off this year, it's the offense. For example, yeah, they took out our running game, but we didn't have much help but Devontae Adams, you know, in that NFC Championship. You know, we just need more help on the offense. I'm not saying every year we had an excuse. Maybe some years we should have won. For example, when we went 15-1, we had a great team that season. We probably there was no excuse there. We really just played our asses off and still lost the game and played shitty. Actually, we played shitty. I don't think we really actually played our asses off, but you know what I mean. But a lot of years we didn't have a defense. This year we barely had an offense. And you know, it was destined for the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think there was any chance of us. I thought we had a chance, but I had a sneaking feeling we weren't going to get it anyway. But yeah.
Since that 1 Super Bowl run in which they were the worst wild card team. They were the road wild card team. And
yeah, that just tells you something. It doesn't matter how bad if we are. We can still get, you know, it doesn't matter. He just proved my point. You can come out bad and people can think you're ass, but have a season where you just go you know, be the best you ever seen or some shit. Well, not always, but you know what I mean. But yeah, we came up from that 6th seed, didn't give a shit we were a 6th seed. I think it's us and another team. I can't remember the other team, but we're one of the only teams with the other team that has came out of a 6th seed and won the Super Bowl.
And since then, 6 wins, and 5 of them are flawed, tainted, asterisk kind of wins in the postseason because he got to beat Joe Webb. Then he got to beat Kirk Cousins when he was really struggling in Washington, when Dak owned him, was 4-0 against him.
I want to hear what he says about it.
And then there was the Des Cauditt game. Then there was the Giants boat trip game when Odell led the receivers to South Beach to prepare for a game on the frozen tundra at Lambeau.
Okay, but you didn't say who their quarterback was and didn't say anything. You just said about leading them there. The reason they lost that game was because of Odell. I'd say if Odell caught a lot of the passes he could have probably won that game. So don't blame that on us. That's just shitty, play by Odell.
And then there was the Mason Crossbar game at...
Oh, Mason Crossbar. I was like, what the fuck did you just call him?
My stadium at Jerry World, in which Mason Crosby made 2 cross-country intergalactic field goals.
And your point is, that's, it was a win and win. It's a win and win. It doesn't matter how we got it. We got it.
Of 56 and 51 yards to save and win the game. And I'm saying, well, show me something, Aaron. And you can't.
He did. Did you see the first half of that game? I know they ended up coming back, but I think we zipped them in the first half. They might have scored towards the end of the second quarter, but he did. He shows a lot of things. In that Seattle game this year, he showed you. What do you mean, I want to see something? You are seeing something. You're just not paying attention.
And Shannon, I tried to tell you so. And finally, the 2 men who now run the Green Bay Packers, Gutekunst and LaFleur, they're saying, we're not seeing it anymore. And listen,
we're not seeing it anymore? Okay.
Bob McGinn,
How about they actually drafted some wide receivers so Aaron has some help? Maybe you would see it more.
Know him, but I have crossed his path.
Okay.
And I know of him, Shannon. He is the ultimate source on the Green Bay Packers. He is the guru, the ultimate authority on all things Packers, knowing where all the bodies are buried. And when when Bob McGinn writes this paragraph that he wrote, and I'm going to read it in its entirety because it is potent. You should take this to your bank. So here's what he wrote. Public niceties aside, meaning they're all saying the right things about each other. Those things aside, my sense, this is Bob McGinn, is LaFleur, fresh from a terrific 13-3 baptismal season, simply had enough of Rodgers' act and wanted to change the narrative. With a first-round talent on the roster, Jordan Love, the Packers would gain leverage with their imperial...
No, you didn't have to go out there and draft a quarterback to change the narrative. What you had to do is change the goddamn receiving core. Give them some help. Don't be trying to replace him because this team hasn't got him receiving help for I don't know how long since we drafted. Devontae Adams wasn't even a first rounder. He was a second rounder. Like, come on. You're trying to change the narrative when you're not even trying to give this man some help. So before you change the narrative, get him some help and see how he actually does with that help. See what he did with a receiving core. Give him a receiving core now that's actually decent. Okay? Not saying last year we had the most shittiest receiving core, ever, but still, we need some more help. At least give him a number 2. I'm fine with one of the other guys being a number, a slot. But we need some help at the receiver position. And they're going out here trying to replace him when they're not giving him that help.
Quarterback.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
And his passive-aggressive style, which is very hard for management to deal with through social media and through his...
What do you expect? I just watched... Go check out that the other video I posted on my actual channel, my main channel, Swag Packers. And pretty much this right here is, stupid. Because, yeah, of course he's, aggressive. Because the guy even said in that video that why wouldn't he be? You don't get a talent like Aaron Rodgers. So of course he's gonna be aggressive and shit like that, and he wants to, you know, get some help and shit like that. So, you know, they can win again. Of course he's gonna be aggressive because they're not giving the man some help.
Radio gig that he does. If the Packers do indeed want to become a running team next season, they surely wouldn't want Rodgers rocking the boat and becoming even more difficult to coach.
Okay, yeah, they could be a running team next season, but you need to pass the ball. And Aaron Rodgers is one of the better, well, I'm not saying the best, but he's one of the best passing quarterbacks. Well, that kind of actually that probably made no sense, but you could probably understand, you know, better throwing, accurate, you know, and all that stuff. But, you know, what happens if it comes down to those 2-minute drills? Aaron is great out of them. Yeah, you can run the ball down the field, but you ain't going to run the ball in 2-minute drills. You need that QB that can do that. You ain't going to trust Jordan Love right now. Aaron Rodgers is good at that, and he's better at not throwing interceptions, making drives go longer, even when he is passing. Yeah, this year was a down year with picks, and that's 4 interceptions. How many quarterbacks in their best year has thrown more than 4 picks? Just tell me. That has not thrown more than 4 picks. There is probably some good ones, but there's not that much.
So, again, I told you on Monday, there are reports in Milwaukee, they want to go running back. The key choice was not as much Jordan Love as it was A.J. Dillon in the second round. Big banger. Yeah. The next Derrick Henry, 250 pounds who ran 4.5 at the combine, high carries, workhorse back. And I think they want to start letting him tote the rock and take the ball more and more out of Aaron Rodgers' hands before they put it in Jordan Love's hands sooner than later. And the final line that I would read is, it'll work for the GM and the coach only if Jordan Love can play. Well, Shannon, I told you going into the...
Yeah, if he can. Like, I'm not saying he won't be able, but what happened if he doesn't? Then you wasted a damn draft pick when you should have took a receiver after going 13 and goddamn 3.
The draft, I don't know about
Why
that.
take that risk? Why take it? Why take a risk and take a quarterback for the future? And it just really pisses me off, like that. They took a goddamn but anyway.
Quarterbacks, but I'm not sure about Jordan Love. And again,
Right.
just for the record, Bob McGinn does huge pre-draft homework. Remember, we did CeeDee Lamb versus Jerry Jeudy, and he did the big poll
Right.
of 17 personnel people who gave 10 first-place votes to CeeDee and only 5 to Jerry Jeudy. On Jordan Love, Bob McGinn's research told him the mixed reviews tended to be more no than yes on Jordan Love. Aha!
Yeah, let's skip through this. I don't want to hear this fucker that much. Yeah, let's go.
I think I first guessed this. I think I saw this coming.
I just want to get off that topic that he was talking about.
I get what they're doing. I'm just not sure they're doing it with the next Aaron Rodgers, because I'm not sure that Jordan Love is going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Skip, let's take what you said last, is that the last 3 years that he had given Brett Favre B+, 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 in his last 3 years, he's given Aaron Rodgers C+, C-, or D, or whatever it was. Now, 2 of those 3 years, Aaron Rodgers was hurt, broke his collarbone, so I don't know how you definitively give him a grade. In the next year, he hurts his knee in the very first game, and so I don't know how you give him the definitive grade when you know that he's injured. Second of all, and third of all, last year, Brett Favre, in those 2 years, he never had a season like what Aaron had last year. You know that, I know that. And Brett never reached the NFC Championship game again. Aaron Rodgers has just left the NFC Championship game. They got run off the field. That's what did happen. They got run off the field in the last game of the year up in San Francisco, Levi Stadium. That's what it's called, Levi. That's what did happen. Skip, the problem that I have with you is that when we go back and look at Aaron's run and the games that he's won, you always try to minimize him. You talk about he beat Joe Webb, or you talk about he beat that guy. But you never say about when Tom Brady beat Phillip Rivers with a torn ACL, or when he beat Blake Bortles, or when he beat David Garrard. It's always, Skip, you can't minimize. All you can do is play who's on the other side, regardless who the
Facts. That's all he does.
quarterback is. Yes, Tom Brady has beaten Peyton Manning in some Super Bowls. In the AFC Championship games to get some Super Bowls. Yes, he's beaten some good guys in Super Bowls. But, Skip, you can't minimize what Aaron Rodgers has been able to do. He's been great, basically, since he stepped on the field as the starting quarterback. And since you said all of his numbers is going down and he's not the same, is that why Tom Brady jumped ship? Is that why he went and linked up with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard? Is that why he did that? Because he needs help? He's not the same guy? All of a sudden, he doesn't have the strength to pull guys along that might not be Randy Moss or top-tier talent? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? Because I just need to know, because all the numbers that you threw out, completion percentage,
I can answer
QBR.
that.
Go ahead.
Timeout. Last year, Tom Brady's receivers were dead last in the National Football League.
And your point is? And your point is? We didn't have much of a receiving core either. Yeah, you could say, oh, at least he had a good receiver. Yeah, he had Edelman. What's your point?
In separation, and his go-to receiver was a broken down, beat up Julian Edelman, aging and leading the league in drop passes. And yes, I believe Tom Brady looked at what was left in New England and said, this is horrible. This is only going to get worse. And I think it has gotten worse through free agency and the draft, thanks to Bill Belichick. We're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But I think Tom Brady finally woke up and said, I can't win with this. I'll go there. My coach is trying to push me out the back door anyway. So, and I told you the other day, maybe it's about time for Aaron Rodgers to start looking elsewhere.
You wish.
Oh,
you
really,
wish.
Skip? Is that what GOATs do? They look around and say, I can't win here, and they leave? Because you told me Michael Jordan would have never done that. You told me Michael Jordan stayed. When it got rough in Chicago, he stayed, and he won there, and that's why a lot of people give him credit. Now, all of a sudden, the GOAT, he looks around and says, I can't win with this? Really? Oh, that's news to me, and I'm glad you said that.
You know, he's shitting his pants right now. I know I'm not going to really talk about this much, but that's just hilarious.
Well, it's not news to you because you're the first to admit Bill Belichick's been trying to sabotage Tom Brady, make it harder and harder on Tom Brady. He cost him that Super Bowl against Nick Foles when Bill Belichick gave up 41 points to the backup quarterback for the Eagles.
Not him. His defense did. It wasn't his fault. Like, I'm not trying to be a whole, like, Belichick supporter, but you can't just blame the coach. The players are on the field doing it. Yeah, he maybe gave him a really fucked up play, but that doesn't mean, you know, I just, oh my God, this guy really pisses me off.
And Tom Brady said, I can't live with this anymore because he's trying to
Not even
make it as
talking about
hard
Aaron
on me as he
Rodgers.
can. You've been the first to admit that. So yeah, at age 42, after 20 years, Tom Brady finally said, that's enough. I don't see near the decline in Tom Brady. I didn't see any decline. I definitely see decline in Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know what you're talking about. Brett Favre never had a season like Aaron Rodgers.
You don't see a decline? He lost in the wild card. That isn't much of a decline.
Rodgers had last year. I think that's what you said.
No.
I mean, Brett Favre left Green Bay and had a great season in Minnesota.
No, Skip. I'm saying the seasons that he's talking about. Skip, Brett was an MVP, so clearly he had some great seasons. But Brett Favre was a turnover machine. There's a reason why he is the all-time career interception leader. He's thrown more interceptions than any other quarterback in the history of the game. Skip, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when he's evaluating, Mr. McGinn says he evaluated Brett Favre, what was it, 2003, 4, and 5. if you look at those seasons, it's hard for me to believe that they were better than what Aaron Rodgers just put on tape this past season. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm not saying Brett Favre never had a great season. Clearly, he was an MVP. He won a Super Bowl. He's a multiple-time league MVP. So, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the seasons that which he evaluated. And last year, what we're talking about right here with Aaron Rodgers, it's hard for me to believe without going back and looking at it and fully evaluating it says, oh, yeah, Brett Favre played better than Aaron Rodgers did last year. No, it's hard for me to believe that, Skip. And no, what the Packers did get tired of Brett Favre every year threatened to retire and not coming to OTAs and not coming to minicamp. They did get tired of that.
Thank you for watching. You can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much. But he really roasted the shit out of him right there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.